Holland. I currently am an agent at Creative Artists Agency, primarily in scripted television as well as digital. Are people here still in school? Is anyone still in school? Okay. You could be grown up and in school, that's okay. Well, I think I would say that I started with internships. So for anyone who's still in school, if you still have time in school, whether it's internships or being in an office and maybe not getting paid or something like that, is a great start. And unfortunately, a lot of people start that way even who aren't in school. So if you're new to LA, that's a good way to start as well. And I happened to intern at the company that I currently work at. And after I graduated from school, I got hired to work full time as a corporate floater, which was sort of like an internal temp position where you show up every day and someone's out sick, you replace them on their desk, or someone needs help with a project, you show up and you help out. I did that for probably about 4 months before I got my first assistant position on an agent's desk, and sort of worked my way up from there. I was an assistant to 3 different agents. I worked in the mailroom when I became a trainee, and then I was a coordinator for my department in scripted television, and then I was promoted to. Nice. Tracy?
I gotta figure out how to tell the short version. Can I just say, I'm just really excited to be on this panel with these ladies. This is exciting, and Nick and I have never been on the panel before. This is fun, and I've known Ashley since she was an assistant, and this is a lesson in how quickly things can change because she's an agent now. So, Ash used to call and say, we have lunch and we have brunch. But in a couple of years, she's an agent now, and that's just, you have to be careful how you treat people. You always have to be kind to people because 2 seconds later you can look up and actually, not that you do something because you need something from her, but this is a position that you're in. Like, I could be working for her in a matter of years, so I'm super proud of her. So I came out here for an internship. I did my last semester of graduate school, and after the internship, I graduated from Spelman College, and I went to Emerson College to do my graduate work, and the internship in Emerson's LA program is what brought me out here. And after the internship was over, I was lucky enough to get a job, and I literally never went back to Boston. So, and things just kind of kept rolling from there, and through a mentor of mine, I found out about a job at UPN, working as an assistant in current programming, which is what I wanted to do after some toiling and figuring out, and we can talk about that later. But I was an assistant in current to 2 executives, and I basically got promoted from there. I worked in every area in programming at UPN. I worked in comedy development, I worked in drama development, I worked in current programming, I worked for the president of the network. I worked in every area of that company before I actually got promoted. And I worked my way up, and I guess like Ashley, I worked my way up through the company to the position I'm in right now.
Very nice. And your name and what you currently do?
Sorry. They're like, she's so pretty, but what's her name? My name is Tracy Blackwell, and I'm Vice President of Current Programs at the CW.
Hi everyone, I'm Nicole Henson Randolph. My title is Vice President of Special and Alternative Content at AMC Theaters. What that means is I basically oversee any and all content that's offered on AMC theater screens in North America that is not studio made. So independent films, art films that go through festivals. The alternative side is more of the live content, opera, things like that, concerts and things, maybe games. Every once in a while we have boxing on screens. So I basically oversee that and a program that we created called AMCI, AMC Independent. I too have a challenge of kind of making this story short in terms of getting into the business. When I finished law school, I decided probably my last full year of law school, I knew I did not want to bill hours and practice because there were different challenges and things that I had discovered that didn't really feel like me. I thought I was going to practice civil rights, and I had a couple of really interesting jobs while I was in school, but the ceilings were interesting, they were already here, and I thought I needed to kind of get out of Oakland and figure out something, some other course. So I finished law school, I took the bar, and I moved to LA, where basically my college roommate lived. So I rented a room out of her mother's house, and I thought entertainment would be interesting. And I just talked to whoever would listen. I went to different social events. I talked to any and everyone I knew and asked who they knew in LA. And I just spoke to folks about who I was and asked if there were any opportunities. And I ended up getting a PA job at Paramount, on the Paramount lot with a guy named Bob Brooks, who had a production deal at the time. And I was basically walking his dog and bringing folks lunch and but meeting more people and learning kind of the behind the scenes TV production. I met a gentleman on the set who, well, after I'd learned I passed the bar, which was about, I feel like 5 months or so later, it takes a while. He had learned of an opportunity to work for Magic Johnson. And it was another assistant type job, but I wanted to get in. I figured I'd learned a little about TV, let me see what else I can do. I ended up interviewing for that job, and it went on from there. I basically worked for Magic for almost 8 years. I ended up managing his brand as well as seeding different entertainment projects. So we produced a few things together. And then I went on to Starbucks Entertainment, and I was basically content sourcing and figuring out what books and what DVDs and other film programs we could actually educate folks through the Starbucks stores. And then I fell into exhibition, which is odd. I had no exhibition experience, but a gentleman, I told you this wasn't short, I'm sorry. But it's interesting, it's an interesting flow, because I kind of fell into these positions, but it was just because people noticed that I was willing to do almost anything, and I was diligent, and, and they basically gave me opportunities that I think typically other people start, people in my job now started by sweeping floors in the movie theaters and then becoming manager. But I basically was introduced into the circle because someone at Starbucks, who ended up at AMC years later, noticed what I was doing at Starbucks and made a recommendation that someone meet with me. Okay.
A quick editorial note. I recommend that you pick up the latest issue of Fast Company because Nicole is featured in it. I saw it on the plane the other day. She looks fabulous, darling. And it's quite inspiring. Pharrell is on the cover. It's a really great issue for creatives anyway. So. Okay, Nicole?
My name is Nicole Mills, and it's actually an honor for me to be on this panel with these women. Like, I've been reading about them in the trades for years, so it's pretty awesome. But I'm an associate at NBC Universal. I guess I got this position a while ago, but nonetheless, I started in finance. I was an econ and finance major, worked in investment banking for a little bit, realized that it wasn't for me. So I started interning, and I was a PA, and I worked at CBS as an intern as well. Finally got an internship at NBC. Then I found out about something called the PAGE program. I joined the PAGE program in LA. I spent a year doing that, and then from that, I was in the associate's program. Spent another year and a half doing that, and so basically I floated from different departments at NBC, and I run informationals with other executives just to try to figure out what it is that I wanted to do. I worked in like scripted programming, unscripted programming, production. I just really got a good view of what different executives for a network and studio on both television and feature film side did. And I managed to get a job as an associate at NBC in alternative programming and development. So.
Hi, I'm Adrienne Alexander. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm in my own law firm as an entertainment attorney. And at the beginning of this year with my partner, Tamara Houston, we founded a company called Icon Man, which is a multimedia brand that's come together to celebrate and support Black men. That's Portray is actually a part of our community. So through events and content, we are coming together with the mission to positively change the dialogue amongst Black men. So you'll see a lot more happen in 2014 with us. So, how did I get here? Okay, I'm going to make this as quick as Knowing it and getting there is definitely two different things. So I went to business school after Florida A&M, then I went to business school, got my business degree, and decided I was going to turn down a job with Accenture making a lot of money to go intern with a music attorney. Knew I always wanted to do sports, but didn't really know how to get in, especially being a black woman trying to get into male-dominated sports. But took this opportunity to get there anyway. And your parents are looking at you like, what's happening? You just gave up this much money to make nothing. What's going on? So I took a year to understand, deferred from law school for a year to try to understand what it is to be a lawyer, an entertainment lawyer. And then when I got into law school, I actually started a sports marketing firm, thinking this was a way to kind of get into the industry. So I worked with NFL players. I had a couple of clients then from Clinton Portis to Michael Vick before he did the what he did. And kept working. I've been, like Nicole, the non-traditional lawyer, so I never wanted to work for a large firm. I always wanted to kind of take the entrepreneurial route, and now I can say it's kind of all paid off with my own practice, representing production companies and talent, as well as now really into building business models and building platforms, so kind of transitioning a little bit from the legal side.
Very nice. Impressive lady, right? I'm gonna keep mine like uber short. I came to LA, I started as an actress, I booked a bunch of nationals, some TV, some film. Felt like I was a puppet and didn't have a purpose in the industry. Left the industry, started my first company when I was 19. I went to school for business law. Was like, I don't want to go to law school. It's not what I want to do. Did finish my degree though. Started my first company when I was 19. Grew it. It was profitable, very successful. Started another one after that. That was also successful. We expanded internationally to Australia and Africa and South America, and that was fantastic. Decided I wanted to transition back into media and had more of a focus, and since then I've been running Inspired Life Media Group. We create multi-platform content. We've been fortunate to work with Fortune 500 brands like Procter & Gamble. We work with Fast Company. We work with all kinds of interesting people every day. I love what I do, and now we're moving into more TV and more digital stuff. We just signed a single woman. A lot of you probably follow her on Twitter. She has about 500,000 followers, so we're developing some interesting stuff with her, going back to this intersection of tech and entertainment, which I'm really passionate about. So that is me in a nutshell as well. And
she's working with me.